What is up, my people? You are here with me, and you know where we are, right? My podcast, ASADAH says, "Oh, we got some good energy coming today. I love me some black love. Love me some black love." So, before we get into Happy Black Marriages Live, we are going to see what's up with the female solution, because that's why I'm here. The female solution is the platform we're using. So, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after you get what? You need to get some clarity on what it is. We'll be right back. And you're going to you're in for a good surprise. Be back shortly. Sit tight.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
All right. Thank you, Naima, for giving us a platform to say what we got to say in our world. And today, you guys, well, let me just say for Asada says, because the point is, I have a lot to say, right? But one of the things I really want to showcase, highlight, talk about is happy Black marriages, baby. Because we're going to talk a little bit about it. Wasn't that easy to find them, but I know who I like, though. And so today we are bringing on two beautiful Black people that I've watched over the years evolve. And I'm so happy they came to talk this morning. These are the owners of a beautiful establishment called Park Manor 75. And this is Jacare and Charlette. What's up, family? Yay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I love it. Thank you for being with me because, when you run an establishment that runs till 1 o'clock, coming to a 7 a.m. event is like, what? What are you talking about? So I am very happy that you guys are here this morning. And I just always admired you as a unit because it's sort of like, I don't even know if I've seen one without the other. Right? But I think that's the point though. And I think that's the point of marriage. I'm not into you always got to be locked, but that you become synonymous. You're a unit, and this operates as a unit. So I guess I want to say, I have a litany of questions, but I guess I want to first say or ask when and how, like when this happened and how, why this happened, this connection.
Well, we could take up the whole show just talking about that, but I could give you a very brief, synopsis. And Jacare, please feel free to jump in.
We got parent trapped.
Yeah, one we met when we were 13 years old. We went to high school together, Morgan Park, Stan Gang. And we were friends. We were friends in high school. And then Jacare, being the beautiful brain that he is, graduated a year early and went off to college. So what happened was we had a friend who wanted to go to a graduation party for the year that we graduated. And I was like, I don't necessarily want to go, and he was like, oh, Jacare's going to be there. And from what I could ascertain, he told...
Yeah, I got a similar phone call and it was like, you can go into this party. I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not going to go to that party. He's like, well, Charlotte is going to be there. I'm like, so why are you telling me that? He like, well, she likes you.
And said the same to me. And we both were just very confused. Like,
we wasn't against it. So we both went to the party.
We both went to the party. And then that night, we found out that we did have some chemistry and liked each other.
That was like in 1996. So
okay,
we've known each other since 92. But it wasn't years later till we found out that story that he did the same thing to both of us.
Yeah.
But he only did it because he wanted a ride to the party.
That's funny right now. Like, that is really hilarious.
We got parent trapped.
Little did he know that the creator be like, boop, 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 bitty, boop, boop, putting people in place, orchestrating it all, putting all the players together So we love that. Boop. And you said that was in 96. And so, you took it there. You went further. You had the chemistry. But when did you get married? Because that's a decision. We're gonna talk about that decision in a minute. What's up with that?
What year was it that we got married? I'm bad at this. I'm like the boy in this relationship.
We got married in 2003. Right when I came back from undergrad. That's when we started dating again.
Yeah.
Like we started chatting on, like, was it Yahoo Messenger, like right before I graduated, and so
Okay.
when I got back, we was right back at it.
Yeah, hot and heavy as soon as he got back from college.
Nice. Yay, hot and heavy. Yay for hot and heavy. Yay. So basically, because again, marriage is a decision. It is a big decision, I'm sure, because it's you switch from your own concerns to others and their concerns combined, right? So why did y'all make that decision to do marriage as opposed to just, being chill for a while and whatever?
Yeah, I like to say that we had this profound moment that we was like, our finances are together and we've got a house and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't like that at all. We were still very young.
It was young and messy and stupid. Like, you know what? We've been together for this long. We should get married. What? We should get married? It was very like, let's do this. And then when you do something like that, you have to make the decision. Decision isn't so hard to get married. People do that all the time. The decision is once you stepped into that marriage to be like, oh, this is what marriage is. Okay, we're going to stick with it and see what the next step is. Let's get through this day. Let's get through this week. Let's get through this month. And actively deciding every day that we're going to be friendly and be better and, try to come up with solutions to whatever problems that are going on. So to Jacare's point, it wasn't like this whirlwind, like, oh my God, we've just been together.
We actually were talking about this like in the last couple of weeks. We were talking about this, and I asked because it was a bit of it wasn't really an ultimatum, but it was a question of like, and we were the funny thing is we were about 50 feet away from where we're sitting right now. When Charlotte asked me, she was like, "Where is this going?" And I had not really thought about it, but that question, like I had already come to the realization, that I really loved her. Like I remember that particular moment when it hit me. But it was when she asked that question, the one thing that I did know for sure is that I did not want to be or to imagine a life without her. And so I think that let me know like, hey, I mean, I already knew this was the one, but that was the thing that kind of made me say like, all right, this is a logical, next step. Now, was it logical? I don't know if it was logical. I will say, and I think we say all the time, like we got lucky. We got lucky, like right. I think there's a Stevie Wonder song that I was made to love her, right? And I think that's when I said we got lucky. Like I truly believe like that we were put in this space to be together, right? Like I couldn't imagine like doing life with anybody else.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh no, wait a minute. Wait. I need tissue right now. Hold up. Wait, for real. Black love. Brother love. No, and it's so important, because what you're saying, Jacare, thank you for that. I was like, let me say that right. So what you're saying is so important because I think a lot of women wonder, like, when do men get to that point? Like they know they want her. Like I see, for you to be able to articulate that and say there was a point where I saw, no, I think I want her. So thorough. What makes that switch? What makes you think what makes you go from where you were to that point where it's like, nah, I need her?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there were a couple of things. One, there was a point where Charlotte was like, we were young, right? Like, and I don't know if we knew what that really mean, like in the way that we understand it now. But there's a point that she was like, I just want to take care of you. and it was, it was something that I had never heard anyone, not including my parents. My parents was like, I want to take care of you. They just did it, like, but for somebody to want to take care of you, like, I wasn't a person that was ever thought that marriage. I didn't necessarily believe in marriage, but I definitely I'm drawn to Charlotte, and yeah, it just, I don't know. It just made sense. It just felt. It was a feeling that I had, and a moment that I looked at her, and I'm not gonna lie, like, I just start crying. I'm like, I fully saw her. Charlotte has never been a person who has, like, not been into me, right? She had, when we were together as children, like, she made it clear that she was into me, like wearing my cologne and stuff like that. It was kind of sick a little bit. Like,
I still wear his cologne. So
That's right. That's right.
I don't see the
I love it. I love it. That's so good. And the part of that that I picked up that is important is when she says, I want to take care of you. And let me say the beauty in that, and I think men should really observe and acknowledge, and women too, it has nothing to do with submission.
right.
I want to serve you or I want to take care of you. It has nothing to do with that. It has, like, you really have a feeling for the being and you really want to make sure they good, and you
Yes.
know that you could do a good job at making sure that they're good. You know what I'm saying? And then, both of you have such a dynamic energy. Yours, brother, is nice and mellow. I never seen you wild style. And then my girl, she be like, my hair's blue right now. That's what we doing. Just so you know, I'm gonna be with the blue hair. So I see the difference in the personalities, right? But then that the taking care of a being that has their own energy like that, everybody can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody can't do it, right? Go ahead, Mom.
I think that's because sometimes people get caught up in who they want the other person to be versus who that person is. And I think
Mm,
that people have a very difficult time meeting people where they are. That doesn't mean, to just accept any kind of BS. This is who I am. I'm not going to change. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about, like,
mhm,
your real personality, who you are when nobody's around, the way you feel about things, the way you open up, who you are when you're vulnerable, right? And
mm,
if a person could look at that and say, this is something that I love and something that I accept, I think that we'll be all the more better, because I think a lot of times people look like, oh, you're the package on the outside, or maybe this person does take care of me, but there are all these missing traits. And because you don't necessarily possess those things, I'm not fully locked in. And I just
mm,
think that that's a tragedy when it comes to relationships, is ego, and people have so much ego that at the end of the day, even if they're doing it together, there's a huge part of the individual who's like, but it's about me.
mhm. Exactly. Go.
well,
The points. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
like, I thought, take care of me meant the first thing that you described. Like, I thought, like, and that was not. But I think that's I think that's important to say, though, because I do think a lot of folk think that there's this, like, this idea of what marriage is supposed to be, like that submission, right? Like, there's this, and I like to say it's this fictitious, like, opinion about. I mean, it's a real opinion, but it's like there's this opinion that love is supposed to be like this, and this, and marriage is supposed to be this, and this, and you're supposed to cook for me, you're supposed to clean for me, I pay the bills, and all that kind of stuff. Like, I think to your point earlier, like, we see our marriage as being a unit, right? We choose, and to your point, we're also two very different people trying to be one person and act as one person. And Charlotte's mom used to say all the time, like, before we would leave, she'd be like, I love you, blah, blah, blah. She would tell us both, take care of each other. And then, for me, when I think about, our marriage, it's a question of what does it mean to take care of each other, right? As
Mhm.
individuals, right? And so I think I'm fortunate in that to in our relationship, I'm fortunate in that Charlotte sees me as an individual, right? And she makes sure that I'm comfortable with the individual that I am as I walk through the life, right? As I walk through the world and I try to like do all the things that I want to do and figure out who I really am as a person and supports that. And I do the same thing for Charlotte. So there's also still a lot of grace that we were able to
Mm.
give to each other because it's something special to be able to really kind of experience life through this idea of like, who am I, right? And
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
constantly understanding who I am is evolving,
Okay.
who I am is dependent on who this person is, right? And to be able to like really experience love and experience life through that lens of being individuals as well.
Man, look, who want to talk after that? I mean, like, y'all playing games. Y'all need a podcast. Y'all need to handle this because this. I mean, if you're watching, you really need to rewatch this. Like, I really love what's happening right now, and I love the things that you all are saying because they're not fake. They're very organic, but they real. And y'all not 70 now. We're not talking about this show's 75th Jubilee anniversary. Nothing. You
Not the
know,
Jubilee.
right, right, the Jubilee. Now, but you're a young couple. So for people to hear this level of maturity in your union and for you to be able to articulate like both energies, but what the combination did, because see, the combination is that's the challenge. Are you willing to give up that ego?
Yeah.
Willing to give up your own time? Are you willing? Because once you combine the two, I can see why people. It's weird because I can see why people call marriage a ball and chain. Only in that people feel like I need to chain them. I need them to be mine. I
Right.
need to possess them. And that's what it ends up becoming. Like you need that person like that. And it really shouldn't be like that. In Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard talks about love being a compound emotion between sympathy and love and admiration rather. And so it's like, oh my baby, I love you, or I'm gonna kill you because I love you, or the
Right.
nonsense versus no, I admire the person. And he said you really want to liken yourself to admiration. And so when I look at you both and I'm hearing you, you could hear that admiration. Period. That seems like the base is admiration for what the other person is, and then just wanting to cater to that, and then wanting that in one space. And I think that is so, so, so healthy. You asked me a question during a little break in the beginning, and I want to address it because you said, what is black happy magic? Come on, ask me the way you asked me. I want to make sure I get it right. Come on and ask me what you said.
You said something about like happy couples or whatever, and being able to find them, right? And I was saying like, well, what is it? How do you define what is a happy couple? What is happiness,
Sure.
right?
Sure. Yeah. So my thing and my concept was what I don't like to see is people that are married that aren't happy, because I really have a sense that the other person, it's not that they got to be goofy and
Right.
I love her, but to really bring each other joy. I think that's important. And when I see this dissension, when I see arguments and all of that, to me, you shouldn't be married because not even the kids want that. People be like, we staying together because of the kids. You think the kids want to see that? I'm not trying to say the kids want to see you apart, but they don't want to see you upset either. And so this whole concept of a happy black marriage really has more to do with the union is satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
The union is functional. The union makes sense. Like we operate as a unit. And I think what I've picked up from you guys over the years is a mission. I've felt purpose with you guys. And I want you to talk a little bit about, because y'all are very black oriented. What?
We black black.
We black, 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 black. There is no backing off of that, and it never has come off as militant, like black, because to be pro-black don't mean you anti-white. We're not talking about that. We just talking about you immersed in us and our community. Can y'all talk a little bit about that? Like, what about your marriage feeds that ideology, or did you all have the same ideology? And it just talk a little bit about that, because there's a lot of layers that I can
Um,
ask.
because what you said reminded me of like when we first, so we dated that first summer, right? And then we broke up. And then in the summer times, I was working at CTA as a conductor, and Charlotte would like it happened maybe like twice or whatever. Like she would ride the train, right? You know, and on the red line. And I remember just that's kind of like our reconnection point. Just kind of like, just I remember how I felt like just seeing her on the train platform, and but it was something about being on the train. Like we would end up riding the train together every once in a while, and I remember when I saw her on that train platform, she had this book, right, and she had and it was like had a weird cover on it, and I realized like she had like drew like red, black, green. She took a marker and alternated lines of red, black, green, and made like this book cover for this book. So I'm like, what are you reading, right? Like, what is this? What's this book, right? And it said something like Binky Johnson sings the blues or some crazy stuff like that, right? That she had wrote as a book cover or whatever. But it was a fake book cover that she wrote to cover up the idea that she was on the bus on the red line reading Illuminati 666. Which at the same time, I was reading Illuminati 666, right? And it was kind of like, like the blackness has, to varying degrees, right? Varying moments, right? The blackness has always been it's part of my attraction to her. And I tend to sometimes maybe go over the top, but she's always been very accepting of allowing me to be as black as I want to be. So
Yeah, and it's not weird, but it's funny because it's like Jacare is an idealist in the sense that he will wake up in the middle of the night and will like shake you awake and be like, I just had an idea about not like how we can make more money or something you said. He'll be like, what if black people, and will spin out for an hour explaining whatever topic or nature of topic and wants you to fully engage in the middle of the night after being woken up and be like, and he'll just go on and on and be like, so what do you think? And it's just like, bro, I think I gotta go to the bathroom. Like it's 3 a.m. But this is who he is. But we've just have been able to have so many profound conversations. And whereas I believe a lot of conversations, particularly where it stands with black people right now, seems to be devolving into the women versus men wars or vice versa, where it's like we can articulate, we can have a conversation, we can even be disagreeable, but let's actually be talking about something that's at the end of the conversation is more enlightening and more beneficial to us as a culture, to
Yeah.
us as black couples, as us as a black woman and a black man, than just to harp on the negative as to the whys of why this is. You know what I mean? Like we have so much to offer when we kind of just sit and reflect and listen to the and I don't know, we do have like, alternate opinions about things, but
Mhm.
to be able to sit and listen to that and be like, okay, well, I see where you might think that. Tell me more.
Okay.
I'm intrigued. Do you know what I mean? So I think that that's a pivotal part about being a black person, and not just in name, or not just, as you mentioned before, in this militant state. Okay, I
Yeah.
say all these things. I have rote memorization about what it is to be black
Hmm.
in this very neophyte type of way, but actually exploring different issues and things that affect us, and how what we can do on a daily basis, even being minute
Yeah.
in helping to further our cause of being black.
Love it. I got comments over here, but I want to deal with this first before I get to them. I hear friendship.
Oh, this is my best friend.
Hey.
You already know. We know. We watching that. And I think there's nothing like it, right? That people don't overstand it. They're not getting it, right? And that has to be there. Because when it's there, then you can start building on everything else. What would you say developed like the friendship? I do hear things over time. You, brother, observing, like there was a good process to me of like just an interaction. You dealing with, from 13, loving, loving, loving. So, but what's the foundation of the friendship? What's that based on?
What's the foundation?
Like, I don't know. Like, like I say, I think it's easy to say, right? Like, like I was made to love her, right? Like, it's just we just I don't know if we just got lucky, but like we just connect, right? Our interests are the same or similar, right? And and I don't know if that's coincidental or it's because we've been around each other
For
for
so
so
long.
long, right?
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Um, but I do think there's a little bit of like realism too, right? Because we're we're a couple, but we're also individuals who've known each other since we were 13, right? And so there's a lot of like development, personal development, and growth, and life to live and to experience over time. And I think our relationship, our friendship evolves over time, right? I think sometimes you may think you're friends with somebody, you may think somebody, like, but I think there's a level of connection that and this is a revelation to us, right? We've been together for 23. We've been married for 23 years, right? Together like 30 years or something, and there's we've learned. Charlette, give me the tap.
No, I'm telling you to lean in.
We've been together to points of realizing what friendship actually means.
Yeah.
You understand? So, at 19, like at 13, like you don't necessarily know what friendship really is.
Yeah.
And I would argue a lot of people in the world don't necessarily get a chance to really experience friendship like in a way that we've been able to experience friendship. Like we literally know everything about each other, right? And that comes from and that's after 20 years.
Yeah.
We're still learning stuff. Like the other day, like I was, talking to Charlette, and we've been having a conversation for 20 years and realized we've been having this different conversations. Like, like about things like I have siblings out there in the world, right? And I've been telling her about both siblings for as long as we've been together. The whole time, the other night, we realized she's been conflating the two stories, and there's not just one sibling, there are two siblings, right?
Who is this person?
But that was in the midst of like we are intentional about having conversation together now, right? In the last couple of years, right, where we just sit down with each other, like for hours and just sit there and talk at least 2-3 times a week, And so the more we talk, the more we still learn and get to know each other and build our friendship. But
look, Hercules. I'm in the back going, Hercules. I love it. All right, let me bring up these comments. I ain't going to neglect them because I could talk to y'all by myself all day. We definitely have Higher Learning Network, learning TV show say, childhood sweethearts. That's right. We love it. That's right. Bring it on down. Then we got this show, Three Black Moms. Jacare, did any man in your life, father, uncle, older brother, etc., encourage you to consider marriage, or did they not? Many men told them to hone in their skills at being a player. So was that the thing? Like the men in your family or around you were on that mode, or were they encouraging marriage?
Yeah, so the men in my family, like my father was a only male child, so my father showed me through more so example than in direct conversation and saying like you need to find a wife. But I think they did say, you know, you need to find a wife who's this, and this. But also at the end of the day, those still were their concepts, right? Like, you know,
Yes.
of you need to find a person who's this or that. Like but they wasn't doing that what they were saying. Like they found the person that they clicked with, that they loved, right? You know, and that's coincidentally those things fell in place. And I think there's this like idea that people put out there about like what you're supposed to be doing and all that kind of stuff, and it's like that's all fake and phony, right? Like
Mm,
like the model though is what's important, right? Like I saw the way my father loved my mom, and it wasn't perfect.
mm,
Let me say that. Like my father
okay.
was no perfect man by any means, but he showed up every day, right?
Gotcha.
You know, they went out together, right? They were friends, you know. And so I think for me that's just a part of like my DNA, you know.
Gotcha.
But yeah, yeah. I can't give credit just to the men for showing up, because it's also the women that shows you how to,
Sure.
you know, how to be loved.
Mm, nice. Ooh, did y'all hear that? Setting the example. The children are watching and really basing their ideas, formulating concepts on what they're seeing, you know. And so that is something to think about. We're going to get more into you, your family, the energy. We got to take a quick commercial break. We got another comment. That's right, I had to get my questions out first, but we'll be right back after these quick messages to get back into this lovely black love. Happy black marriages. Y'all stay tuned, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after these messages. Peace. Great day. It's your girl ASADAH here to introduce a new female solution show called ASADAH Says. That's right. Every month we're going to talk about everything I am, from cryptocurrency and financial security to good health and parenting strategies. Come on and talk with me every Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And let's do that thing the way ASADAH says it should be done. See you then. Peace right here on the Female Solution.
Literacy is freedom, and we have a literacy crisis. Children should learn to read from pre-K to third grade. They should practice reading from fourth to sixth grade, and they should read to learn beginning in seventh grade and continuing through fourth grade. This video is sponsored by Rico Nance and Chemistry Steak and Brunch House in Hyde Park, Chicago.
Okay, we're back, baby. We are back, and you're tuned into ASADAH Says. ASADAH Says this month, happy black marriages do live, baby. They do exist, and I want us to hear the why and the how. And so today, I love having Jacare and Charlette. They bringing it to you, baby. Don't play. Look, I love what y'all are saying. I've never had the opportunity to really sit down and talk to you about any of this. I've just observed you. And when I was dancing in a club, y'all, which we're gonna get in a minute, and I was like, I need you on my podcast. I need you all because I'm getting ready to talk about happy black marriages. And so I didn't have to see, the thing is, I didn't have to ask them about the character of their marriage. I didn't have to do that and check to see if they had one. I'm only going on what I observe. And what I observed was I don't see no strife. Like there's no alpha. I'm not seeing him looking at her side eye. I'm not looking at her, rolling her eye. Mm-mm. I'm observing a union, and I'm observing building together. We were talking about how I remember some conversations around you working through whatever y'all was working through, but it was about community. It was about being in the community. It was about real estate. I don't remember, but I just remember you all as a unit, right? So before I get into that, I'm gonna just deal with this one other question because it was up here. Naima Latif, thank you. She says, Charlette, did your friends and family encourage you to get married, or did they discourage you or tell you that you were too young, and telling you to wait until you're older or more financially established, etc.? So talk
Well,
about
um, the thing about Jakari and I, both our parents were married 50 something years. Like they were married to the day that they ultimately, passed away. And so my mother got married at like 19. I think feel like your parents got married like 1920, what I'm saying,
Yeah.
early like that. So it wasn't necessarily this conversation. Being a girl, we want you to do all the things, but I've always been kind of like, I heard what you said that you wanted me to do, but just in case you're not right, I'm gonna do the opposite. And then
it.
if you're right, I'm gonna come back and be like, you know what? Probably should have listened to you. But so the way that works is that when Jakari was in college and we had ultimately broken up that first time, I did go off and get married to somebody completely different. I was married for 3 years as a 19-year-old.
Okay.
And what does that look like? I was able to have like my beautiful son from that relationship, but ultimately it wasn't it was a relationship of convenience. It's like we weren't equally yoked, and I don't mean financially or mentally, but definitely spiritually. It just wasn't something that was going to work out for us, for either person. So when Jakari got back from college, graduated college, and was just the sparks were there, we just really started to go down that road. And I remember, my parents, as we were dating, once he had returned, I think even both sets of parents were just like, is this something that you want to do? This is serious. This is not something to go into, but now I'm open to that conversation because it's like, girl, we told you the thing. And so anyway, but now you're a little bit more open and introspective, as much as one could be at 22, 23. My brain is still not fully developed, but I was always like a very precocious girl. So all of that to say that no, yes, people, we did have conversations about marriage. Nobody was discouraging me from doing anything. It was just a different time. It's been almost 30 years now, whereas now, and I think even then, it's like, hey, you got to go to school. You got to do this. You got to do that. We want to make sure that you have all the tools in your toolbox to ensure that when you're going into these relationships, that regardless of if it works out or not, you're able to take care of yourself.
Nice.
Even at a very young age, I was very much able to take care of myself. It's very strange. Like as much as I was sheltered as a child, I always had the ability to step out on faith and just be like, I'm like the little kid in the back seat of the car when you're trying to put on their seatbelt and you're like, I got it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like 20 minutes for this 3-year-old to put on the seatbelt.
Yes. Love it. But I love that. Look, but let me tell you what I love. I love that here came a little feedback, but you knew to make your own decision.
Yeah.
And I think that's so key. And that sticks out about you in the hearing that. But then also, if I look at my own life and my own advice I got from the women in my life telling me, don't ever go with a musician because they will cheat on you and if I would have listened to them, terrible. My best love in life was a musician. I love musicians. I love the create in their minds, all of that. So to take your own advice and to know what is in your heart is most important. Like you said, I hear you, but let me just make my own decision and then, go from there. So, we got so many questions to ask. I want to go into you all evolved, and guess what? Family. That's what people really are, right? So you got a family that came on about. Now you talked a little bit about big men that came from the first marriage, but here they are. Talk a little bit about who else we looking at. And this is an older picture now. Come on with it. What they looking like now?
Yeah, so this is an older picture. Backtrack. So my father did one time say, don't get with a woman who has a kid, right? Like, and this is when he knew I was dating Charlette. But that was the only time he ever said that. And then he just fell into love with, the kid. So the oldest kid, Ernest, is in the background with us. He's 28, archivist for Smithsonian in DC.
Right.
the middle kid graduates. That's Kazi, and Kazi graduates in 1 week, undergrad, with honors, and then the baby is Ari, and Ari is here with us in Chicago, so you might see her bouncing around over at Park Manor 75.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. And so they're older. We love this little family pig. I know you gave me something else to look at. We sitting and that's now these the big folks. These the grown folks now, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
One is missing, but yeah, you get the gist.
We get the gist. We love it. And so how would you say, and we got another comment, but I'm getting out my stuff, baby. How would you say the addition to the family, when the children start coming, now you shift into a whole nother vibe? Like, what would you say, what did it do to you? Like, what did it do to the union? Did it make the union stronger? Did it make y'all frazzled? Did it make you more solid? What did it do, adding the children?
Make you frazzled as kids.
Yeah.
That's what they're supposed to do. They're going to test and sit on your nerves.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I think that it was always, we always really, and this isn't like some old, white tale that they tell you, oh my God, we always wanted kids. We went about having kids in a very Black way. Like, by the way,
we having a kid.
I'm pregnant.
Yes.
Yeah, like, pretend like you're like real super happy, like,
oh my God.
like inside you're terrified, like I can't take
I
care
love
of
it.
myself. Like what? Like,
Right.
Right now we gotta be responsible for other people eating.
Yeah.
No, the kids are wonderful. I will say that, how people are like, you can't tell kids that you their best friend. Well, who is then? Yeah. Because I'm my kid's best friend, and
you know it
too, and they would be better. But like, we love the kids. We were really interested and invested in their upbringing in terms of like, education and sport. Like, we did the whole gamut of things that you're supposed to do. But where we did make a difference, like with the oldest one, like I told you, I had that one at 19, and it was just like, oh, you got to be like this, very much raising them how I was raised. You get in trouble, you get on punishment, you slap their hand or they get a whooping or whatever. And then when we had the other ones, Jacare actually was working for CPS, and he had a mentor there who asked him, Jacare, do you whoop your kids? And he was like, yeah, hell yeah, I put it down, because the little ones wouldn't get whooped. And he was like, you shouldn't. You're smarter than that. You're developed. You should be able to have these conversations. And when I tell you that it was like just this light that went off, and to the point where my oldest is like, y'all did not have the same parents as me. We not like, what I'm saying? They all developed and beautiful and kumbaya.
And let me say, like, because my parents were big on like whoopings and things like that, and so I remember like when our middle kid was born, Kazi, I remember my mom asking, "Are you whooping them?" Like,
it's a baby.
Nah, because we did not initially believe in whooping children, right? And when she asked me that, I'm like, nah. And she's like, you gotta whip him, and he's like less than 1 year old. Like, what are you talking about, right? So. But in response to trying to be a good parent, you're grabbing this stuff, and then you're like, all right, I got it, because I don't want nobody to say, my kid is bad because I didn't whoop him, kind of thing. So when this brother asked me that, it really was. And I remember, like, I came home to Charlotte that day, and I was like, what do you think about that? His son was like, architect for Disney, living in Japan. His daughter was Secret Service for Obama, and I'm like, clearly, he knows something, right? So she was like, yeah, let's give it a try. And it's like, I'm so grateful for that bit of advice, because to Charlotte's point, like, these are my favorite human beings on the face of the earth. They are my best friends. Like, we have the best time together. We're able to talk about anything, right? And so it's like an extension of us, ourselves, right?
And it did definitely deepen our respect for family, for just things that, because now you want to be better for these kids, because it is time to shine and show example, right? You have to show and prove. And I think that we are not perfect, you know what I mean? So, people think that, oh, there are no arguments, there are no, you go over there and I go over here. But that is not the basis for our relationship. That's just trying to work through being two individuals in a relationship where we have to come together. But I hope and pray that we've shown them a good example. But to me, I feel as though it would definitely deepen the love that we have for one another. And not to say that, it's something to live for, because we were definitely living for each other and for ourselves, but it's just more, it's just more at stake, and it just feels good to have somebody who's looking up to you and showing them something different.
Man, it's invaluable. I like to tell people the definition of a friend, and it says a person attached to another by feelings of affection and personal regard, a person who gives assistance, a person who is on good terms with another, a person who is not hostile. Of course, you want to be your child friend. Is you crazy?
Right.
Yeah.
Is you crazy? Yeah, what you're talking about. That's why you got to clear words. You don't want to be their peer. You don't. So you're not trying to rock like their age group, but their friend. We take so much energy trying to not be their friends that we miss the boat. Like
Yes.
we miss what you could have had based on a better relationship with them as children. And so, boo to that. Y'all listen to this beautiful married couple. If you're just tuning in, guess what? You're tuned into ASADAH Says, and we're focusing on happy Black marriages that do live. And you're hearing so many good things about, the marriage. I'm purposefully, people want to hear things about trials and tribulations, and I'm purposely not really dealing with that. I do want to bring up something that I found though on the internet. Let me see what this say real quick. It says, favorite thought of the day: 15 years ago I married my best friend. It hasn't always been perfect. What to say perfect, but it's perfect for me. I can easily say I am better. And it says, oh, that I'm better because of him. He is my rock, my light, my love, and my friend. I couldn't be happier than I am today. I love you, Jacare Everett Thomas, aka Black Jesus. I can't wait to spend the rest of our years together. Woo! Woo! Y'all playing with me. When I saw that, I was like, I can't wait to get that. And so, Mom, what was your mindset when you wrote that? Do you remember?
I do remember. Actually, I haven't seen that in some time now, because it's a much older post. But I was just like being kind of very introspective and reflective, and really thinking about what he means to me, what this man means to me, and how much we have done with each other over time. Like the businesses that we've built, the experiences, like tripping the light fantastic, going on all these trips and voyages, and raising these wonderful kids. And I can't say that it would have been the same with someone else. We're just like lockstep. And I really appreciate the experience, and I'm always like, I can't wait to see what the future brings, and all the things that I hope that we'll accomplish and the things that we'll do.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable. I command the universe to work in your favor. So here's the deal. You said something. The businesses we've built together. That's kind of how I remember you guys as doing things. You have a dynamic establishment called Park Manor 75. Park Manor 75. You have built up to this point. What was that journey? Not the whole journey per se, all the details, but like first y'all tried this, next you tried this, and now you're here. I want you to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so when we were like initially married, we had this idea, like it was me, Jacare, Nasoma Vernon, and Marcus Davis, and a woman by the name of Terry Davis. And we were like, we wanted to, get people together and, have just all this cultural this cultural surroundings, artistic.
Yeah, like,
So we had started a non-for-profit called Noir Urban Arts Collective, and what it was we would host these events where you would have musicians, spoken words, you would have painters, photographers, models, all these things. And in that, you know, we wanted to like do like programming for kids, and I think that's always kind of been, you know, in somewhere in the back burner, that we always wanted to have some kind of community aspect to anything that we're doing. So we did that for a while, and as very young people, you know what I mean, we did the best that we could. You know, it wasn't a whole lot of money, but we were able to kind of hone some of the skills that we very much use today. From there, Jacare and I, you know, started a social club called See Black Social Club, with the same idea that, you know, we would host parties and do events, but that we would, you know, very much be like networking, getting people together. Your kid need to go to school, or this person is you know, over at this school, or you need you know, something.
Yeah, a kid needs a job, like,
yeah.
So it's like we got the jobs, right?
Yeah. So just, and not just the people that people would consider these upper echelon, you know what I'm saying? It's to some extent some very, you know, blue collar, you know, hard working people who are looking to be in a room with a different caliber of individuals, because they have ideas that they want to build on, and you know, just kind of bridging those relationships so that they're able to, you know, then have these connections where they're able to do the things that they ultimately want to do. And then finally, of course, and there are iterations of smaller things in between, but I'm just kind of thinking about the bigger things. We come to Park Manor 75 with the same idea that, yes, you know, we can be a bar in the community, but we want to be like this elevated space for people to be able to come to and find their tribe. We have, you know, the music, we have the art, we have like community coffee, and just places where people could be seen and feel themselves being comfortable and not feeling like they don't belong because of their sexuality or their religion or the color of their skin. So our ultimate goal was just to always, one, work together, but two, to develop something that other people will see as a value add to their personal lives.
Y'all, let me tell you, I live on 73rd. So when this jam, I'm like, you're so funny, because I saw this place, and then, you know, you be like, I gotta go there. But then I didn't realize who owned it. Oh God, when I found that out, I was like, Hercules. Like, it just took on a whole new meaning of dopeness, right? And so, a meaning of dopeness. I need to put that on a shirt for you. But anyway, yo, my friend was so excited when I was telling her about it. And I love the events. Let's just look at it, what it looked like, y'all. Y'all playing. Y'all know I got the image. Boom! Look at them. Ooh, it looks so good. And I gotta show y'all a video real quick of us, because I went there recently and I was like, oh, wait, what? So hold on, I'm gonna find that video, y'all. Let me play it for you. Where my girl at? Where we at? Hold on, here we go. Okay, you need to understand, we're at a Black establishment, okay? Let's get a little rundown a little bit. Come here. Tell them what it's about, baby. What's this whole line, this vibe?
Yeah, so we have all black wines, all black spirits, all the artwork is black. The construction team was black. Everybody that works here is black. Black, blackity black.
Black.
It's the blackest ever.
Yeah. That's all you're gonna get for now, but I'm getting a tour. Peace. I love it. And y'all, let me just give you the rundown, because you may want to go. There's the website at the bottom. We're going to find out the details about that in a second. But check this out, because this is the rundown. They done expanded them hours. Watch.
Just because you say things are gonna change, things are gonna change.
Yes, beautiful. let me just say, from a business standpoint, the marketing is beautiful. The logo's beautiful. Like, you all really are rocking the graphics. You're doing this. You're doing this dopeness, I should say. Yo, I have so many questions and things to say. How do you feel the fact that it's established? You don't just rent no corner store, nothing. Don't you own the building you're in? Talk a
Yeah.
little bit about it. Y'all coming up, baby. Come on, talk about it.
Yeah. So unfortunately, like our parents started passing away in like 2018, and so they left us a little bit of something, and we were kind of like we didn't want it to be gone and not have anything to show for everything that they worked for in their life.
Yes.
I know my mom wanted to open like an establishment like that, and it's kind of just never realized her dream, right? You
Mhm.
know, and so for us, we just we wanted to do something that meant something and
Yeah.
was like also still reflective of their energy, their spirit. Like me and Charlotte are super social, but our parents were social, right? You know, and so um but yeah, we bought the building like in like just kind of like one morning, right? The day that we had the idea to do something like this is the day that we started the process of purchasing that building. And
Love it.
Charlotte, that's Charlotte, right? Like Charlotte is like, we're different. I'm more like, hold on, this guy be lined up, and Charlotte is like,
Let's go.
more so like, let's go.
That's because
right?
I'm a Sagittarius and he's a Cancer.
She's a Sagittarius.
Love it. I was gonna ask that because I wanted to know what this mojo was that I was observing and what was underneath that. So love that. Love that you know your roles, and that you're willing to let y'all roll, each other with who you are. And like she said, you up talking all night. Good. Got you. I love you. Hold on. I'm just going to the bathroom. So the synergy, I think it's important for people to observe this synergy. I love your space. I hate that we only got 2 more minutes. I guess what I want, tell us a little bit about the website. What do we experience? And then leave us in the next 2 minutes. Just say, how do people get what you got? What's the first thing they should do to establish the strength that you have? That's the most important.
Well, yeah, our website is like you posted, Park Manor 75. You could definitely go on there to find out everything about us, literally about us. There are YouTubes on there that like details our full journey, which kind of goes into how you take what you need, leave what you don't. You know what I mean about the journey that we have and apply it to where you see fit. We're open. Wednesday through Sunday, as you saw in the hours, we have a ton of events, mostly surrounded around music, wine, just community. So those things are updated. Well, it's time to update again. It's May, but I went I went through April, and we just really enjoy people's company. We want them to come out. We want you to feel good about yourself. And we're looking to be just here for the long haul. So rock with us, and we're gonna rock with you.
If you want good entertainment like the old days, Izulis, Zentra, when life was really good and authentic, come see us. Like, it's always gonna be somebody dope there. So this Thursday, Dwayne Powell, all in Monday.
I will be there.
What's
Give us that energy, yo. What do people need to do what you do in terms of not just the business, but the friendship, the union? What they need to do?
I would say that be your authentic self, but also, be thoughtful about what your authentic self does to someone else. So that doesn't mean, change who you are, but it doesn't give you a full right just to go out here and do whatever you want without thinking about how the other person is affected. So be yourself, find yourself somebody that you can rock with, whether this is a relationship, a friendship, a business relationship, whatever the case may be. And make sure that it feels good. And know that everything isn't perfect, and sometimes we have to have difficult conversations. But when you do have those difficult conversations, be open and honest about what happened in those scenarios, and don't be too big to apologize, but don't just apologize and do the same thing. Apologize and try to make sure that you're not affecting that person or that situation in the same way that you did before. And what would you say?
Just give people space to make mistakes and to, give them grace in their apology, because you're gonna mess up too.
Hercules. I love you guys tremendously. Thank you so much for being here. If you're tuned into us, this was wonderful. Y'all need to play us a replay. Rewind this whole show. It's so good. Thank y'all for being here today. I will see you on Thursday to dance. Yes. And y'all can go back to sleep now if you want to, but I got you up, so it's okay. All right, guys. Love you much. Thank you, viewers. And let's keep going. Thank you for tuning in to ASADAH Says, y'all. We out till next Tuesday. Peace.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jareh. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.